Revelation 2558. From the 23rd of November 1942. Creation, Power Receiver. Nothing is too small for the eternal Godhead not to pay attention to it or not to let the strength flow to it, and nothing could do without this strength from God. And therefore everything must be in connection with the original source of strength, with God. There must be a constant redirection and supply of strength from God to everything He has created. What has been created must continuously absorb the divine power, because otherwise it would cease to be. Only on this condition does the created by God continue to exist, and only on this condition is the work of the divine Creator to be considered if it is to be recognized as His work. For His love and wisdom gave everything created a purpose and a goal. In order to reach the goal it has to fulfill its purpose, and this requires a power. The power of being able to carry out what was given to it as a task. Without a task there is nothing in God's work of creation, consequently everything must also receive His strength, and consequently the recipient of strength, that is every creation, must be in contact with the giver of strength so that the transfer from God to the created can take place. And again this allows the conclusion that an incessant change of strength must take place because nothing has the same purpose but the purposes assigned to the creations are so numerous and different that also different currents of strength make these purposes possible and thus a perpetual change comes about. Thus the perpetual becoming and passing away is explainable insofar as that the creations only then fulfill another purpose or carry out another activity when they have changed. And therefore not the tiniest creation remains without the supply of strength from God, and this supply of strength entails a general change, because the strength from God does not let anything remain inactive but brings forth a constant change. And therefore the connection between God, as the creating power and His smallest work of creation may not be denied. Otherwise these creations would either not exist or would also remain eternally unchanged if the same supply of power to these creations were always and constantly involved. Thus the power necessary for emergence would not increase in itself. Power from God must necessarily stimulate activity, thus have a life-awakening effect, so that the work of creation can only then perish when God withdraws His power from it. Because then all activity ceases, thus a state of death sets in. But something dead does not exist in the universe, in the divine creation, because everything is a recipient of power. Consequently, everything must change within itself, even if it takes a different length of time. God grasps everything with His strength, He leaves nothing out, nothing is too small for Him. For everything that is from Him and can never lose its connection with Him. It can only erroneously assume this and reject strength in a stage of development so that it cannot flow towards it in the measure at its disposal. However, it is always permeated by the life force which also flows towards it without its will to receive it, for this life force is the original basis of all creation. It is the strength from God which conditions every being. Amen.